Hey guys, welcome back to DCU Daily. This is a DCU Daily special edition. We got some breaking news today, so I wanted to talk about it before the day was over. We have some more casting for Superman Legacy. Of course, we had David Cornsweet, and we've got Rachel Brosnahan already on the cast. They're going to be playing Superman and Lois Lane. Fantastic casting, in my opinion. They have the looks, they have the talent. However, there are some new people joining up the production. Peter Safran announced earlier today that we're going to have Nathan Fillion, who was in the Suicide Squad, who was most recently in, I think, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So he's worked plenty with James Gunn. He's a James Gunn regular, if you will. I think I first remember him from Castle. He's joining Superman Legacy, and he's going to be playing Guy Gardner, one of the Green Lanterns. I'm hoping this is not a one-time, one-off kind of a deal because he tends to play a lot of those kind of characters where he comes in, makes a cameo, his character either gets killed off or something else happens. I'm really hoping that we get to see Nathan Fillion stick around this time, and maybe his Green Lantern could be one of several in the new DCU. We also have Isabela Merced, who's going to be on the Madam Web movie that's in production at Sony right now. She's done a bunch of other projects. She's got a full slate of projects coming up also, and she's going to be in this movie as well. She's going to be playing Hawk Girl, I believe. So now I'm wondering if Hawkman from Black Adam is going to come over to the new DCU and there's going to be some tie-in. I probably don't think that's going to be the case considering the casting choices. They're going with somebody much younger here. I mean, comic book accuracy is maybe not necessarily what they have in mind, or if they do, then they may yet cast a new Hawkman. So who knows? But I love the fact that they've brought more actors into the fold here, and they're all fantastic actors. Speaking of fantastic actors, we've also got Eddie Gathegi. Hopefully, I pronounced that the right way. But Eddie Gathegi, I love him from the show For All Mankind on Apple TV Plus. He's in a bunch of other stuff too, The Heart of the Fall, for example. There's a bunch of projects that he's a part of. He's got lots on his slate as well. So, all three of these actors are doing plenty of work. I think he's playing what, like Mr. Terrific? Yeah, Mr. Terrific, who I believe I've seen in like the Justice League animated shows. Not the most well-known character. That's one of those like James Gunn characters, like where he's gonna go find somebody who's a little more obscure and then bring him in. You can say the same thing about Hawk Girl potentially, and even the Guy Gardner version of Green Lantern. It does tell me a lot though about what this casting means for the movie of Superman Legacy and the larger DCU universe. Like when the DCU starts with Superman Legacy, you're not going to have a world where you have this one event that completely shakes up the foundations of that universe, like what we had in Man of Steel, and then they decided to build out the rest of that universe around Man of Steel and that world defining event of the battle with Zod to save Earth at the end of that movie. And then they had to kind of like retcon, like, oh yeah, Wonder Woman has been around all this time, and then but then she went in hiding, she left the world of man, but then she was flying around in the 80s, but like it was they had to jump through so many hoops to sort of like retcon the history of the DCEU, including like what we saw with the Justice Society and Black Adam. So I hope that that's not going to be happening with the DCU, and it looks like with James Gunn bringing these actors in to play these characters, as well as the way they've cast Superman and Lois Lane, and the fact that James Gunn said it won't be an origin story. Superman, he's already Superman in this movie, David Cornsweet is, and he's going to be just going about his life at the Daily Planet, kind of similar to the first Superman movie in 1978 with Christopher Reeve in a way, except that he'll have a universe full of other heroes who are already around. The metahumans aren't like a new thing in this world. And that's exciting because I think that means we're going to get a different kind of DCU. Like it's not going to be the MCU where, oh, I am Iron Man, and then then they went like, oh yeah, Captain America was frozen for all that time, Thor hadn't arrived on Earth yet, and then slowly over time we start to figure out, oh, Captain Marvel was there in the 90s and then she left, things of that nature. And I'm sure like down the road, maybe we'll see more of that too. I mean, there's only so many ways you can keep introducing new characters if you don't want to just keep introducing them linearly in terms of chronological time. So maybe 10 years from now, when the DCU is well up and running, they'll start to do stuff like that. But I'm so glad to see that they've brought in, a ton of talent here. I mean, the best thing you can do in a movie is bring in talent, because talent will help elevate your project. And with a director like James Gunn, who is such a good writer as well, writing the script and directing this movie and producing this film, and now having, Nathan Fillion, one of my favorite, television actors, who's been doing some good movies of late, whether it's Firefly, or Castle, or even the Rookie show on ABC. He hits a home run every time he's on screen, and I loved him in all his cameo appearances in the recent James Gunn movies. So I'm hoping that his version of Guy Gardner is great. I know it's going to be great, but I hope he has some lasting power. Maybe he hangs around, comes back, makes an appearance in the Green Lantern TV show, which we know is going to be focusing on the Hal Jordan version of the character and Jon Stewart version of the character. So, maybe we can add a third Lantern. Originally that series was supposed to be about Guy Gardner, and then it got like retconned a few times in terms of how they were developing the show, and the original creators left and the new people came in, and now it's part of the DCU plans. We haven't had a Green Lantern project since Ryan Reynolds' infamous Green Lantern movie. So I'm excited to see that we're going to get a Green Lantern pretty early on in this DCU. It took us till Zack Snyder's Justice League, or even the theatrical version of the Justice League, to get a Green Lantern. And even that Green Lantern, what was that, Kilowog or somebody? Like, he wasn't a human Green Lantern. Like, we kept getting teases. We never actually ended up getting it into the final cut of any of, even the Zack Snyder's Justice League. He couldn't feature the Green Lantern that he cast. So I'm honestly really excited for that. And Hawkgirl has been a fantastic character, a fan favorite in the animated universe. So I'm excited to see her make the jump into the silver screen, because we've also seen the live action iterations on the CW, but that was like hit or miss. I'm kind of excited to see where they take the character cinematically now. And Mr. Terrific, James Gunn does a fantastic job with those lesser known eccentric characters that you wouldn't otherwise, associated with a lot of comic book movie success. But if there's anybody who can make them good, like Polka Dot Man, I think James Gunn can do that. So the talent's here. There's going to be probably more castings to come, of course, or more likely when SAG goes on strike. We'll likely not be hearing a bunch of news for some time, but this movie, hopefully it will still come out in 2025. That's my hope. Hopefully these strikes can get resolved sooner rather than later. But check back on DCU Daily. We cover the latest news, the breaking news. We'll review every new movie that comes out. We'll talk about new announcements, everything that James Gunn has to say about the DCU, any kind of updates about Blue Beetle, Aquaman, and the Lost Kingdom. Keep coming back here and like and subscribe. If you like the content, that really helps us out when you hit the like button, when you subscribe, because that way you can stay up to date with the latest updates. I'm Dan, and I'll see you on the next episode of DCU Daily.